Good afternoon and happy Sunday. And it's the Sunday before Christmas. So for lots of you, you're gearing up for Christmas. And last week, I guess, was a bit of a down week for me. So all I can say is that this week, the Dragons decided to kick my butt. They said, okay, that's enough of that. You, talking to me, you need to figure this out. And we've already given you the tools. And then they took me back to, I mentioned this a few weeks ago, that they wanted me to connect with my chakra dragons, to get to know them, to understand my chakras before I can move on. And they're like, this is really important work, not just for you, but it's really important work for everybody. They're guiding me to say, we want you to do this work over the holidays. And then as you step into 2025, we want you to start sharing this with other people. The big thing that came up, a couple of you sort of, thank you. There was a couple of people that said they picked up that I was a bit down. I didn't think I was. But what I realized was that I have not dealt with grief. And I'm not going to go into all those details, but grief, when I checked into each of my chakras, every single one of my chakras is holding grief. And it goes back to, I don't know, when I was born, to, my divorce, all the other things that I haven't truly grieved. And the reason I know that is that I literally push things down. Many years ago, I pushed it down with food, all the unhealthy habits of push it down, push it down, push it down. Now, the big thing that came out of this, and some of you might not be happy to hear this, but what the dragons said was, you need to move your body. You need to shake it up. And I'd been hearing from them, shake it up, shake it up. But, sometimes you have to hear it several times, and then they're like, so this is how they explained it to me this morning. They were like, you need to move your body, especially as I'm getting older. I'm in the senior category. Not only do we need to move it to move our blood throughout our body, because we need to replenish, we need to refresh, we need to pump it out, we need to pump our heart, we need to make it work faster. They were like, you need to move the energy through your chakras. And how they've explained it to me was no big surprise. Grief sits mainly in our lower chakras. But as I'm hearing them now, I half-heartedly addressed the grief. One big one that I will share with you was the death of my father. I was 26. He was, as far as I knew, he was a healthy man. He was diabetic, but he was healthy. He just turned 60 in the September, and he dropped dead in the November. I mean, literally dropped dead. No warning. At the same time, I had been going through my own medical issues, which was infertility. And so not only did I lose my father, but I was losing something within me. And I remember talking to my primary care doctor. I was back in England, and they were like, yes, this is a normal feeling. You're grieving the possibility of not having children. You're grieving your father's death. It's sort of normal. But I didn't go there and do the work. I just was like, yeah, and I'm British. So, we do the stiff upper lip, which is, just crack on, just put one foot in the other, it will be fine. And now as I reflect back, I've done that in so many situations. I did it in my divorce. At that time, I've mentioned this before, it was the angels that kept poking at me and I kept ignoring them. So they literally put me flat on my back for about 4 months. I woke up one morning and I couldn't move. And we never really found out the true reason. So I know now that if I don't address what's coming up, that's what happens to me. So literally I didn't even we've all done it, so I need to exercise, I need to do this. I literally was like, I have to move my body. And I've only been doing it since Thursday. I used to have a really good workout routine, especially in the winter when it's cold. I'd do walk at home, which is, getting my steps in. My dog, I still have he occasionally likes to go out. So I've got that. I've got a route that I walk. And I'm like, just because it's cold out. I mean, I woke up this morning and I thought my phone was wrong. I thought the weather was wrong. It was like 12 degrees. And I'm like, that's not right. It's 12 degrees. It's cold. So all of this I'm saying is that, the dragons are kicking my butt. They're like, move yourself, move that energy, move it, move it, move it. And they're showing me. And this is really fascinating to me because, they've been subtle the past few years. Now they're saying, like they did when I did my Oracle deck, actually, the beginning of last year, I've said this before, I have very prescriptive dragons. They're like, you need to do this, this, and this, and that. And they're saying, work through your chakras, connect with your chakra dragons, and then go out and teach people. So I am going to be offering that as right now I'm thinking it's a two-part class where we can explore our chakra dragons, like meet them in the first class and then do some exploring. And then it could go on to be longer, or I could work with you personally. I'm definitely going to be offering a one-on-one with me to work on our chakra, work with your chakras and your chakra dragons. And it just, at times we think, oh, they must be in balance. I was just surprised when I went into my own chakras, what was stuck in there. And it can be easy, and all you need is a pendulum, or however you want to do it. But for me, using a pendulum and saying, is it grief? Yes or no? Is it stress? Yes or no? Is it, forgiveness? Yes or no? You can do it pretty quick. But I'm happy to do it for you as well. So I'm definitely going to be part of my new menu. I said last week that I'm going to be I think I'm going to be focusing in on chakras because they're so important. And even, once we get to, when I got to my crown chakra, I was shown and I know there are more chakras above that, but I was shown not only does it open up, but how we can access the galactics. So I really want to explore that. And the other thing that I want to explore, and I've got them actually nudging me now, is this appearance of the ice dragons. Some of it has been, they've told me, I just got the chills when I said that. I came across them accidentally when I was doing some chakra work. That they gave me this, they went all the way through my body and I have had me cold for weeks. But they say there are stories that they need to tell because they're emerging from under the ice. So as they keep telling me fields, and that may be because that's how I connected when I was in high school. I love geography, and I actually went to Switzerland twice because I was so fascinated with glaciers and how they form the mountains. So that was I realize now that I went to Switzerland and probably met them then. Having talked to Katara the other day, we talked a lot about, I saw the ice dragons there. So they have a story to tell. So maybe I'll be telling their stories as well, because they're saying that as the ice is melting, they're now coming out of their caves. A couple I've met have never flown before. So they're like kids. They're like, I'm out flying because they've just stayed in the caves because of the ice. Some of them had, this is what they're showing me. So I met the Inner Earth people. They have a portal in Inner Earth where they can get out. So these dragons could actually go out. So they're saying it wasn't that they couldn't fly, they haven't flown on Earth. So it's not that they haven't flown. So they would go through Inner Earth and out of the portal and go into the galaxies. And we're all from the stars, and so are the dragons. Or their choice was to go out there. So I've got a lot of stuff coming in. As I'm talking to you, they're I've got ice dragons over here. I've got some others over here. They're like, yes, you need to tell the story. So I know some of you have already met or encountered some ice dragons. You may encounter one. Like me, I get a collective. But yeah, there's going to be some very interesting dragons here because I think where I'm in the northern part of of Massachusetts and the northern part of the USA, we've got a cold spell, and of course that's when we're going to see more ice dragons. Some people have seen them in the sky. I see a lot of my dragons in the sky, but I've got a lot of them here, and they're very big. The ones that I've seen, these Icelandic dragons, are huge. I mean, bigger than mountains. I mean, my chakra dragon, or my Akashic record chakra dragon, I mean, he's bigger than a mountain. He's huge when he opens his wings. So yeah, that's exciting. And I know it's, here I go again with my throat. It's just interesting that, you know, all these things that we know are good for us, you know, there I was going. And I have slipped. I have slipped with my diet. I've slipped with, you know, working out. And boy, it makes a difference. I can honestly say, even doing 15 minutes, I've just done 15 minutes of, so we do 15 intense minutes instead of 30 minutes, get some steps in. And you just feel different. That's all I'm going to say. So, you know, I've got the purple hair going. I got up a bit earlier than I normally do. So that's what it does. That's what the dragons are saying. That was the message that they kept saying. Get on and tell people that it's not only important to move your body for medical reasons, it's important to move your energy. Energy gets stuck, and it will get stuck in our chakras, right? You can go in and clear it out, but if you move your body, move the blood through your body, it's going to clear your chakras much easier. So there's the message from dragons. So as it is Christmas week coming up, I have actually just pulled 4 cards. I've had some interesting repeat ones this week, as you've probably seen. But these are who have come forward for this week. Archangel Michael, spiritual acceleration. So again, not surprising. It's the beginning of this 2 weeks, I've always found, is very intense in terms of what's coming up for us as we go into the new year. 2025 is a completion year. So spiritual acceleration, you're experiencing spiritual upgrades, move forward. So just as I've said, it's like get your body moving, get your brain moving, get all of that moving. The spirit fox, that's a good one for the winter. It almost matches my top today. The spirit fox, trust your talents in changing times. So trust your talents in changing times. And that was a specific message I got yesterday as well, was about accepting, being there ready for the change, and that we're going to be, us light workers are going to be needed as we step into 2025. Green Tara is stepping forward. Again, it's all green. Isn't that interesting? Green. Green Tara for protection, supreme protection. You are protected. Cords are being cut. Move beyond limitations. Trust. So here's another one to work with. Green Tara is probably a good person to work with around trust issues. She will help you move them pretty quickly. So it's sort of easy. If you think it's not complicated, I think sometimes we make things more complicated. It's really, we need to acknowledge what it is. Like for me, it was grief. I kept really saying, no, I'll go this way. No, I wouldn't look at it. Now that I'm allowing it to come up, and as I've read, when you're doing this work, you can be fine one day, and the next day you might be reduced to tears. You go along for a few more days, you know, and you're either going to be up or down, but it's the grief is lifting and moving. That's the one thing I can talk about. And I know a lot of people this year have had various reasons to be in grief. And my advice would be that deal with it now. Otherwise, like me, it's been stuck. Some of these have been stuck with me either my lifetime or at least 25 or more years. And then the star dragon. So our ancestors from the stars are reminding us to follow our souls. So, message from from the stars and our ancestors to follow our soul's message. And they, for a lot of people, they've been pretty loud this year, I think. Mine certainly has. Once I got all those messages about connecting with my soul and how important it was. It's interesting how the dragons work with me. They like bring things to me and let me explore them. And then they say, yeah, that's the work you need to do. And I thought it was the Akashic records. But what they've told me is that not yet. I still keep getting not yet. that I still need to do some more work. And I've realised I've got to accept that, because I think if I tried, what I was trying to do was like, why don't I understand this? I was trying to force it. It doesn't happen. And everything that I do, I have to experience. So I'm experiencing it. So stay tuned on that. Hopefully, beginning of the year, I have been asked to do at least one in-person class, which I'm planning to do locally. A friend of mine runs a spiritualist church, and she thought the chakra dragons might be a good one to talk about. So, and then I've just pulled, this is interesting, I just pulled the Sacred Soul Shadow Oracle, Facing Our Fears. So this is for us this week. It's not about being fearless, but having the courage to progress despite them. So facing our fears, it's not about being fearless, but having the courage to progress despite them. Make progress despite your fears. So I was just listening to my horoscope for this week, and that came up for me about like face your fear and do it anyway, right? So I hope everybody's prepared for Christmas. I can say that I'm fortunate that I don't have to cook for a whole lot of people. My days of when my kids were younger, we always seemed to, especially when I lived in England, because I had in-laws as well to juggle. So those of you that are juggling in-laws, kids, which house should you be in? My heart goes out to you. So just give, I'm not the only person that is going to say, that it's not everybody has big families. Not everybody is at this time of year the happiest time of year. Sometimes it's sad, and it makes us step back and reflect. So you see, look, it's bringing the tears up now. So here's one of my grief subjects. And I know that people have said that they don't like to hear me say it's just another day. But it is just another day for me. But I will celebrate in some way. I will count my blessings. I have both of my adult sons live with me. I've got animals. I've got a roof over my head. I've got a job, and I've got food on the table. So, I've checked all the boxes. Now I've got to take care of myself. So I'm going to send that message to you for this week as well. That in all this chaos, in all of what goes on with, whether you've got young kids or older relatives, take care of yourself. Take time for yourself. Even if it's that you go and sit out on the patio for 10 minutes. Go and meditate. Go and check in with the dragons. Do something for yourself. And I will take that. See, I'm good at giving advice. So I need to do something for myself. So have a fabulous few days. Don't overindulge. But if you do, go out and walk, right? Here, it's a nice, very cold, but it's a sunny day. So again, I always say, living here for 33 years, that in England it's often dark and overcast and dreary. At least, even if it's cold, we have the sun. So I'm thankful for that as well. So write those lists of what you're thankful for. I've also decided that I'm going to do a different type of vision board. I've never done a vision board because I couldn't be bothered to sit there and cut things out. But several of you have done this. Colette Baron Reid is doing a 2-hour class in January, and I just got her pocket oracle deck. Like, I needed more oracle decks, right? But this is the wisdom of the oracle, the divination cards. So they're personal use mainly, because I need some help into the new year. And if we don't reach out and take it, and I'm like, what better way? This isn't like, it's a vision, like literally going on a vision quest and figuring it out. But I'm excited to do that. And I would say for next year, we need to all remember to put ourselves first. In the work I do, I often tell parents, usually mothers, that like to handle your kids, especially kids that have mental health issues and behavioral health issues. You know, if mom's not doing well, then nobody's doing well in the household. If you're a dad and you're a single dad, then it's the same. It's whoever, you know, and if both parents, if you're not doing well, you're fighting. If you're not doing well, then you can't expect the family to do well. It's not selfish to take some time. And it doesn't have to be, I've got to go away for a weekend. As I say, it can be 15 minutes on the back deck. But take care of yourselves and have a good holiday. And I may be back over the holidays. But if not, I'll be back next weekend. Take care.